to yield, inventory, and later mass balance checks.
Document verification confirms the lot identity and declared quality before.
Apply traceability label.
Visual inspection screens for decay, bruising, and obvious foreign matter before sampling starts.
Clean sampling tools reduce cross-contamination risk during inbound quality assessment. Composite sampling improves representativeness and supports fair pass-fail decisions.
Size variation that may affect trimming efficiency and yield.
Define the thermal treatment window needed for safe, shelf-stable puree.
Deviation appears.
Temporary quarantine prevents unreviewed raw material from entering the food contact line.
Formal review separates acceptable raw material from lots that could compromise safety, yield, or quality.
Out-of-spec raw material from contaminating accepted flow.
FIFO movement limits storage time variation and stabilizes incoming condition before washing. Feeds the line evenly while minimizing bruising and uncontrolled debris entry. Metered feed prevents clumps, improving wash coverage and reducing mechanical damage. Gentle flume washing loosens adhering soil while protecting pod integrity before sanitizing steps. Controlled agitation improves soil removal without harsh brushing that could damage tender produce surfaces.
Fresh rinse water carries away loosened soil and prepares the lot for verified sanitizing contact.
A second rinse reduces suspended soil before sanitizer contact, improving wash consistency and water hygiene.
Controlled sanitizer contact helps reduce surface contamination before the product reaches inspection, and spraying reduces carryover and prepares the product for a clean final rinse. Final rinse removes residual sanitizer while preserving the hygiene gain from the previous contact stage. Removing excess water improves downstream visual inspection and reduces dilution before pulping. Consistent dewatering improves optical visibility and stabilizes material flow into the inspection section. A single layer is essential so workers and cameras can identify defects and foreign material reliably.
Manual inspection catches obvious defects that could lower puree quality or overload later sorting system. Beyond manual inspection. Threshold setup balances removal of unacceptable pods with protection of yield on acceptable.
Trim segregation protects the main line and preserves suitable fibrous material for byproduct recovery.
A quick post-trim check prevents hard stem remnants from passing into grinding and screening equipment. Uniform cutting improves grinder loading and helps release pulp efficiently in the next stage. Even presentation after slicing supports reliable detection of any remaining foreign material before grinding. Foreign material inspection is placed here because cut pieces are visible and controllable before wet grinding begins. Immediate ejection prevents isolated contaminants from entering closed extraction equipment downstream.
Steady feed protects grinder performance and creates a more uniform mash for downstream pulping.
Coarse grinding ruptures tissue and prepares the material for efficient pulp separation in the pulper.
Short enclosed transfer limits exposure and keeps the extraction train continuous and sanitary. The pulper begins separating smooth puree from fibrous solids, a key step in yield and texture control.
Screen-based pulping recovers smooth puree while retaining tougher fibrous material for controlled downstream separation. Capturing the pulp separately allows the next finishing stage to refine texture without reintroducing coarse solids.
Controlled removal of retained solids prevents overload in the extractor and prepares a clean split for byproduct handling while preserving the refined texture achieved in finishing. Segregated finisher rejects remain suitable for the locked fiber byproduct route and stay out of the puree stream. A controlled visible merge keeps all fibrous solids on one traceable recovery path for later drying and milling. Surging and prepare the puree for air removal before heat treatment. Deaeration removes entrained air that can affect oxidation, foaming, and thermal consistency. Thin film exposure under vacuum helps reduce dissolved and trapped air without harsh mechanical treatment.
Parallel sanitary loop is clean and fully rinsed before any food contact use.
Suspended and creates a more consistent base for specification checks.
Representative tank sampling supports in-process checks before the puree is committed to final heating and fill.
In-process solids measurement supports consistent specification without relying on guesswork during standardization.
Adjusted by blending with compatible concentrate, a legal and controlled way to meet specification. Post-addition mixing prevents concentration pockets and improves the reliability of the next confirmation test.
A confirmation check verifies that the standardization step actually achieved the intended composition.
Low shear homogenization can improve texture uniformity before heating without overworking the puree. Feed buffering stabilizes flow to the heat exchanger, which is important for accurate time and temperature control. Wastewater is treated on a separate utility path and never returns to the food product stream.
Concentrated sludge is removed as waste, reinforcing that treatment residues remain fully segregate from all food contact operations.
Stable feed into the heater is essential for reliable residence time and controlled thermal processing. The product now enters the validated thermal system, where lethality depends on controlled flow and temperature.
Raise puree to target heat. The puree is now approaching the set point for optimal pasteurization.
Protects the sterile connection during product entry.
A secure dock maintains aseptic integrity at the exact point where product enters the final package. Controlled aseptic filling transfers the treated puree into its final sterile container without exposing it to the environment. Accurate fill control protects declared net content and supports consistent downstream pallet loading.
Immediate fitment closure protects sterility after fill and completes the primary package seal.
Controlled accumulation keeps the packaging line stable while matching the pace of pallet loading. Converts the dried fibrous material into a more uniform powder suitable for B2B ingredient use.
Final sifting improves particle consistency and removes occasional oversized fragments before packing the byproduct. Batch chain.
The traced and thermally processed okra puree leaves as aseptically packed finished goods, while fiber byproduct and waste remain segregated throughout the run.